Welcome back, everybody. I go by the name of MPHO, and this is the Couch Potato. So guys, I've been checking out a lot of content in preparation for the videos of this channel, and during that time I did pick up something that was quite interesting, and that was the amount of drug content that I found on these streaming platforms. And in this video, I will be giving my 3 cents about the rise of drug content on our streaming services such as Netflix. So without further ado, let's get into it. Well, one of the biggest reasons would have to be education. And it's no secret that drugs are one of today's most serious problems. But the underlying question here, guys, is whose responsibility is it to teach people about drugs, especially the young generation? Well, online services such as Netflix have decided to take a part of the responsibility in educating and distributing information about drugs to their global audience, especially in an era where most parents find it hard to address the issue of drugs with their children. Again, like I said, this is where streaming services such as Netflix play a role in presenting their audience with all of that information surrounding drugs of both legal and illegal variants through a range of documentaries such as How to Sell Drugs Online, Cocaine Cowboys, series such as Disjointed as well as Breaking Bad, and even movies such as Dope. I guess platforms such as Netflix understand that most households never engage in a conversation around drugs, let alone bringing up the word drugs. And it's not that they don't want to do it, it's because they don't have the extensive information to even engage around the topic of drugs. And someone will say, but these shows are not family shows and they have an adult rating on it. Which is true, but that still doesn't stop you, the adult, from consuming that information and passing it on to the young generation. So with all of that information gathered about drugs through movies, series, as well as documentaries, one has to appreciate the way in which these storylines were built and structured so that they become more informative as well as understandable by the global audience. Personally, guys, I feel like Netflix is a master of mystery content. Literally, I think almost everything that's on Netflix has the word mystery attached to it. And the content about drugs seem to be the most compelling because of the mystery that's around it. And I'm pretty sure there's a number of people out there that have always been curious about the business of drugs, or pretty much everything surrounding drugs. From the kingpins to the networks to the relationships that are built during that time, the whole supply chain of illegal drugs, from the production to the export to the sale of it until the consumption of it by the customer. By making a use of a mix of interviews, all the new footage, pictures, newspaper articles, police report, as well as on and off the camera action. All of these mediums are used to gather evidence that will be used to build the storyline that is informative as well as sufficient to educate the young generation about drugs. And the last one would have to be, of course, challenging the context of drugs. With the lack of enough information and education about drugs, it's unfortunate that the word itself, drugs, will always fall into the wrong context. Most people tend to use the word drugs in the context that all drugs are bad, despite whether legal, illegal, or even beneficial in a number of ways to certain individuals. Streaming services such as Netflix break that stigma and make us realize that most people are not as open-minded as we thought. Otherwise, they would be having open-minded conversation about drugs and not necessarily defaulting to the norm that all drugs are bad. Being open-minded about a topic such as drugs allows you 2 things. That one, to accept that drugs, both legal and illegal, may not necessarily be for you, but can be beneficial to someone else. And secondly, to be okay with the fact that everyone is entitled to their own opinions and decisions when it comes to drugs. You say yes to the drug and you will live with the consequence. Okay. So guys, this is just really it. The rise of content of drugs is due to the fact that there is an urgent education required in this world when it comes to drugs. Personally, I am pleased with streaming services such as Netflix in playing that role in changing the context of drugs, as well as introducing a collection of content that could potentially educate the young generation as well as allowing other people to be open-minded about the topic of drugs. So guys, this is just really my view on the rise of content that we see a lot on our streaming platforms. Please let me know what you think of the video. Do leave a comment in the comment section. Leave a like if you did like the video. Thank you for spending a couple of minutes with me, and I will see you, of course, in the next video. So for now, cheers. Sure, my legs, yo. Need to get back on the couch now. Ugh.